I think that is generally the plan. Alright, I just have to bring this over here. Scale it down a little bit for in-game. And then if any of you guys complete the sponsorship, it will pop up over there. Alrighty, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And let's get into some StarCraft 2. Trap and Rogue start off this best of 7 series between the Freecs. Kwangdong Freecs are the names of those guys nowadays. And Dragon Phoenix Gaming. So, in we go, off we set. And we begin our journey into today's World Team League action. Like I say, this was played on Saturday. And I was obviously just not here to cover it. So, apologies for that. But sometimes I like to take days off and do my own thing. It's a new thing I'm trying this year to try and take some time for myself. So yes, just gonna be seeing an Nexus dropping down and stuff, and so far pretty standard. It is Berlingrad, so maybe we expect something like a, you know, a bit more akin to like a, yeah, maybe something more akin to a, Twilight opening instead of a Stargate opening, perhaps. That's absolutely a possibility. We'll see what comes out of this as we get going, and as everything, yeah, just gets rolling here today. Rogue is always fun. I believe this might even be the first time Rogue is playing in the World Team League this season, because he's obviously been in GSL up until now. Obviously, the first 2 rounds are played across the same weekends, or the same week, so if he was prepping for GSL and stuff, it makes sense that he maybe wasn't a player that was sent out. And, yeah, we see a Stalker on the way up. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see how Rogue does his debut for the season. Trap, obviously, I think a lot of people will still say is the ace of the Freecs, no doubt there. So, actually, kind of a really cool opening match. Really will set the tone for this series. You know, even just getting a 1-1 here, just keeping your team from going 0-2 down, would be good for either of these teams. I mean, it's actually a pretty hype matchup. Zest Armani is definitely not a guarantee, although Zest will be favored there. And Kia will be favored against Sue, but I still believe Sue's been looking okay. It's been kind of cool to see him return. He's been able to take maps and series off some of the guys, so, yeah. And I do think this first one, you know, getting something like a 1-1 or so would help out a lot. You know, for either team here, it actually is going to be quite important. Nothing is a guarantee going into this. Unlike some matches where you have, you know, those best of sevens where you're like, well, even if they drop the first map or two, you expect them to pick it up further down the line. That's just not kind of how it's working this time. So, yeah, away we go, and we wait to see what will happen. As you see, 3 extra gates already coming through. Obviously, the Twilight is down, right? And the Robo facility coming online now as well. But we haven't started Glaives, right? There we go. On cue. I don't know why. I feel like Glaives could have started a little bit sooner already, so I guess we shall see. See his first official match back was 2-0 in Björn. Yeah, it's I do think he's been very good at points, but I also look back to his World Team League last week, and last week in World Team League he didn't do so hot either, right? So yeah, like last week in World Team League he didn't look so good, so keep an open mind, but I do think it's very possible. Like I said, I think everything is kind of up in the air in this match. Now it's gonna have a Prism popping out. Glaives is still moving on along. And this first attack is set to go. Just a quick mention, I guess, because I'm probably going to put this on YouTube as well, because I'm kind of struggling to actually have enough YouTube content at the moment, just because, well, things I've cast and stuff like that. But, yeah, it's YouTube, hello. I just mean, literally hello. Hello, if you like the channel, subscribe. A lot of people are complaining that they're not subscribed or not getting notifications, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. I appreciate it, helps us out. We're on the road to 40,000 YouTube subs. We're going to try and push that hard and get that done in the next... I'd love to get that done in the next month. Maybe by the end of June. That would be actually a really cool goal. Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, check it out. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. And keep on watching awesome StarCraft right here on WardiTV. Here comes the Adept attack from Trap then. The kill off an Overlord, not a big deal, right? So, you know, Rogue's expecting to lose that, although now supply blocked. Extra OVs on the way up. As these first Adepts get here, surrounded, but Glaives is done. His first wave hits a little bit later than it usually would, and I wonder if that's why the Glaives was kind of okay to be, you know, started so late on. It's going to be seeing the Adepts continuing to work their way through a lot of those Lings on the ramp, and, you know, oh no, the Prism gets shot down. 2 of the Adepts do finish a warp in, but 2 of them get cancelled, so that's nowhere near as powerful as you initially wanted it to be, and oh, these Lings are not having a good time at all trying to push through this. This is turning into something rather bad, in fact, as these lings continue to give chase. And depths just continuing to drop, but... Okay, it's kind of a weird one, because the prism went down, so that's very good for Rogue. If that prism didn't die, I actually think Rogue is in a lot of trouble, but because the prism got cleaned out, it makes this holdable. And what's interesting is that Rogue's just playing like pure lings on the defense, not a roach in sight. That definitely has an impact as these adepts do get back. A few more lings going down, Rogue down on workers, and now an immortal push setting up. This might just be a quick W here from Trap. He might just be able to, yeah, he might just be able to push through and win because... Like I say, now with some roaches coming up, I do feel like these adepts did well. It's weird, like, it almost feels like they didn't do, like, amazing. It's not like they killed, like, 20 workers or something, but I feel like they did enough over time, and especially they killed off a lot of lings. And then if you're following up with an aggressive attack, killing off units is obviously very, very good in that regard. You know, that sets you up in a great way, so... As you do see Adepts, Immortals, a Stalker, all pushing forward. This is going to be mostly just Adepts reinforcing the Spore Crawler. Makes a play for the Prism, which takes the Immortals' attention for a few moments. It is worthwhile getting rid of that if you don't want to move your Prism around. The Immortals hurting, but surviving for now, as we do see the Adepts shading to the natural mineral line. Their numbers decreasing. Only a few of them left. Again, a few extra drones here means that Trap is going to take a 10-worker lead in the game. So they're going to be in a very comfortable worker position so far. Going to be seeing the Adepts finally going to shade out, sorry, actually even recall out of there, not shade. Only 2 survive, but 2 Adepts back at home to help with the defense follow-up is better than none, or maybe they just go and harass. There's options, basically, is what I'm trying to say. There are absolutely options available to you there, so... Options available, just going to be seeing, I mean, extra gates and blink coming up as well, so we see exactly where Trap is taking this on the next step. 15 workers ahead, and Rogue is droning, so he is playing worker catch-up. He doesn't have roach speed, so I imagine he doesn't feel as though he can just go across the map and fight or anything. So yeah, he's just going to accept that that's probably not going to happen, and that he's just got to kind of play for the longer game here, all said and done. Which is absolutely fine to play for as well, nothing wrong with that. It's going to see the Stalker warping in, the extra gates all coming through, a couple more Stalkers warping in as well. All of this getting set up right now as we have the blink. We don't have +1 just yet. Rogue has just now caught up on the work account, so he's just about being able to play catch up there as we do move through. And a couple of corrosive bombs going to force a group of units back initially. Just try and, you know, scare that army. If it walks into Biles, then brilliant. That's just good news, right? So yeah, a lot of cool opportunity, cool potential still in play right now as we just have Trap. Well, kind of choosing if he wants to attack or not. Is it right for him to attack? Is it wrong for him to attack? I don't think there's a right or a wrong here necessarily. Just gonna see our Stalker's coming through, gonna grab that Overlord. So that'll go down, and we are gonna get a Ling kill as well. The rest of the Lings to the right hand side, and he's up there pretty quickly to help out. We're just going to move up this ramp, so Trap's going to send it. And he already blinks forward once again on top of these units, make sure they can't kite away. Corrosive Biles are breaking down the force fields. They do hit a couple Biles just now on the Immortals, and that's always going to be good if you can hit the Immortals with a couple Corrosive Biles, right? Take away those barriers, soften them up. It's just not going to be enough, and Trap is going to get the Kwangdong Freecs a game number 1 victory. I think that's a big deal. I think that's really, really important here today for the Freaks. If they have a chance of this series, it's definitely going to be with Trap taking at least 1 map for them. GG. See you. Let's kick this off and get this underway. And it is all going to begin in the top of the map with Rogue. And in the bottom right, it is Trap. I'm too slow on my introductions. I can't keep up with the tremendous speed of the wonderful observers here in the World Team League. Doing all the difficult stuff so we can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the best Team League StarCraft 2. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And you know it as well, guys. I know you guys know it. I know you know. Uh-huh. I don't know why I'm making weird sounds and doing stupid things. Sorry. I will stop, I promise. It's just been a bit of a tit, really, aren't I? Yay. So obviously, it's Pride of Altaris. Gold bases are a possibility, and gotta say, I'm kind of surprised early to see that Rogue is just allowed to take a gold. Trap doesn't go there to try and block. We've seen a lot of people trying to play for the block on that lately. So, yeah, a little surprised to say the least to start out with there. But nothing like it's, not like it's the end of the world or anything super crazy or super bad. Like I say, just maybe a little surprised. As we do have the drone gonna try and chase down that probe, and the probe has to go running away. Obviously, Trap's seen this. He's actually got a forge coming up, so he's gonna cannon rush the gold base. Okay, Trap. We're gonna cannon rush the gold base. Explain this to me. That's definitely a fun approach. There's definitely one way of doing something here. I'm not completely sure I'm convinced just yet, though. So that was the cancel, but then you're playing against Rogue, and so Rogue's like, oh no, I had to cancel. Wouldn't it be a shame if I just built a hatchery in your base instead? And if Trap doesn't scout that, well, that can basically be game over already if you don't scout that. It's bad. So this doesn't feel very nice for Trap, who's obviously got a pile and a cannon that's on the map as well. That's not going to help Trap with the defense at all, so that ain't exactly ideal. Huh. It definitely doesn't feel great right now, does it? Rotor and Stein, that hatchery just moving along, and like I say, Trap is none the wiser as to what is currently happening. He has no clue what's going on right now, and that is a real shame, because I feel like, oh my god, he's going to start cannon rushing his own gold base, which the Zerg is now trying to take, but again, he just doesn't realize the base is in his main, which means that, well, you know, you waste that money out on the gold base, right? You know, Rogue's like, okay, you do that. I'm just going to lap this up. Oh, man. Trap, no, not like this. The Freaks were depending on you, buddy. I'm not saying you're letting them down, but, you know, we can't just die to a proxy hatch, no? No. No, he's going to see the creep spread. He's going to know what's going on. Now he's got to make a defense. He doesn't even have a pylon in the main base. No, he's building 2 cannons on the gold. No! He gets stopped. It is important that he gets rid of that gold, because if he is going to have a chance in this game, it's going to come from... If he's going to have a chance in this game, it's going to come from defending this, probably on one base, and if he's going to win like that, he needs to be making sure that Rogue doesn't have a gold base to mine from. So it is actually very important that he's doing what he's doing here, and I don't disagree with the cannons. I know it's a little bit funny when it's like you're under attack in your main base and you don't have any defense currently, but I do think it's necessary evil, I suppose. Problem is, can you defend here at all? Two Stalkers going to do what they can. Corrosive Vials will go on the cannon, so it's not going to last forever. And it's going to be tough to keep that wall alive. No batteries makes this such what feels like almost impossible hold. You know, it's so difficult without batteries, which buy you so much time and all that wonderful stuff. This is not looking great at all. We're going to start getting a couple of cannons up and running as the Ravagers begin to morph in. Okay, weighs about a full. He's trying to get a sentry to buy some extra time, but oh, the files actually didn't hit both the cannons there at least, so that was something. But with the Lings in, obviously Trap just has not really much hope at all, and yeah, the difference in this game, if he just scouts and has more preparation with batteries and stuff to defend initially, he just had no idea. He was absolutely clueless. You know, 2 batteries in the main, you can see how well they do just keeping probes alive for a little while. It's just way too little, way too late. Rogue is going to take game number 2, and that's going to tie us 1-1 in our first matches, our first games here. So how about that? A little bit of 1-1 action, an aggressive Rogue and Trap series, I guess kind of expected. That's going to be how we on off, and these next 2 maps, it is going to be more PvZ. In the bottom left from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Zest. In the top right-hand side from the Kwangdong Freecs, it is Armani. I was just wondering if they'd already done it and I missed it, but no, we're good, we didn't miss it. Check us out. Hell yeah. So, yeah, I mean, going into this match, let me remind myself, I'm pretty sure that DPG are already 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to think, because they played Platinum Heroes week 1, that was kind of funny. And then round 2, it was, I can't remember, but it was one of the middle tier teams that they won against, so they're 2-0 going into this. there is obviously a little bit of pressure on the Freaks, because if I'm not mistaken, they lost to Team NV for sure. And they also lost quite heavily to Alpha X, if I remember correctly. So the Freaks are 0-2, and obviously, anytime you play DPG, it's never like terrible if you come away with a loss, because a lot of teams in the league are going to lose to DPG. But when you're 0-2 against, you know, I mean, good teams so far, don't get me wrong. But when you're 0-2, obviously, you really look at this. You get first map off Rogue. You really look at this as a series you kind of really want to win. You want to get the ball rolling. Starting 0-3 isn't great. It's recoverable, yes, but it's not great. It's definitely not good for morale, and I'm actually going to try and get this up without looking at any results and see if I can see the future rosters. I'm just trying to zoom on Wikipedia so the things are hidden. I'm like looking, like I'm side looking, so I'm not looking properly. Oh yeah, I got it. So the Freaks actually play Kaizi next week as well, which is like, ouch, that's a hell of a series. And DPG play SSLT, so DPG have more wins like coming for them. It's very possible if Freaks lose here, they lose to Kaizi, and that's an 0-4 start. And that's rough, man. But arguably against the 4 best teams in the league, or 4 of the better teams in the league at the very least, it's just difficult because the Freaks lack the consistency to kind of perform every week, and that's fine in this league. You know, it's not going to maybe win you the championship, but it'll get you into playoffs and so on. But obviously, if you're that kind of team and then you're already 0-4 or something, geez, I mean that's then you're asking for the stars to align basically. So yeah. Well, just getting the slaughters, the Adept coming through. Stargate's about halfway done, couple probes coming online. This Overlord coming in for a little scout at the front as well, just coming through, saying hi. I'd love to see what's going on at the moment. Just that warp gate's ticking along. The Adept's about halfway through. With Stargate opening, we're just going to move into a Void Ray. We've seen obviously quite a few Stargate openers still being used in this day and age of PvZ. They've not been completely phased out as some people would have liked them to have been, but they see enough play. I don't think we see too many double Stargate and like mass Void Ray stuff anymore. It happens, but we really do typically see Void Ray into Oracle or Void Ray into... usually Void Ray into Oracle. Maybe sometimes Void Ray just into very quick Glaives, but Void Ray Oracle is one of the more common ways of playing lately. And this is going to be Void Ray Oracle right here. And then you usually set up into a Twilight, a Robo, a Forge. You know, you just get that ground composition working with Void Ray for safety and scout denial, the Oracle for scouting yourself. It just gives you a very safe baseline to build into the ground army from, and that's typically, a lot of the time, all you're really looking for. You know, a good baseline can get you a very long way in a bit of PvZ. See what happens as we obviously move through this. You have the drones all continuing in, and Evolution Chamber is beginning. I got another Stargate going down, so Zest is going to play +1 air weapons. He is going to play into a lot of Voids. Here's me being all like, you know, not seeing too much of that nowadays. And then Zest is like, hold my StarCraft and watch while I, you know, Void Ray it up. Can I just say, though, by the way, when the hell is Zest actually going to leave and go to the military? I know it's like, it was like kind of like a thing, and it keeps changing for him, but like, seriously, like, did they just forget Zest exists? Like, I was a player for a long time. I was like, oh yeah, it's just a bit weird, you know, it's just not quite happened yet. Sometimes it happens like this, it gets delayed. Now, even I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? Why does this man never leave? Not that I want him to go, don't get me wrong. I love that he plays in all the tournaments. We get to watch super high-level pros play a lot of the time. It's just like, he's got to leave at some point, right? It's kind of wild. It must be so draining to kind of go by each day just thinking like, you're basically waiting on them to be like, hey, look, it's time for you to do your military. It must be so draining just not knowing that, you know, is that going to be it by the end of this year? Is it going to be next month? Like, God, I'd be so frustrated. Like, it's so annoying. I actually have like, so when I was younger, we did a thing called World Challenge. And basically, it's like you crowdfund and you go on a trip, like a group of you go on a trip, and you do like you go on a trip to somewhere interesting. And you go on like a trek, and you do like some community work, and you do some like usually it's been like acclimatization, which is like a week of doing like small treks and stuff to acclimatize and stuff, and then you do like a trek for a week, then you do some community work for a week, and then you have like a week of like rest and relaxation or something. And I was just like, and what happened was I was meant to go to Honduras, and literally we were in like the school sports hall to go, and Honduras went into a state of civil war, and so we couldn't go to Honduras. And so for the next like 3 and 4 days, it was so weird because I had no idea what was gonna happen. That's going straight to carriers, by the way. I just had absolutely no clue what was like gonna happen at all. It's like each day was like we're waiting on news, we're waiting to be basically told we're going somewhere else. I was like, I have no idea what's gonna happen for the next month of my life. It was such a weird feeling, I guess. And that's why I feel like Zest must be like, he's like, I've got no idea. Like any day, like my life could be about to change. You know, it's I don't know. It's you're kind of living in that knowledge that something's gonna happen. You just don't know what. I just it was real weird. I remember it was back. For some reason, I remember this quite vividly. Because I was doing something like very specific on RuneScape back then when I was playing or something. I know that's so dumb, but I remember very specifically like the 3 days before I then went somewhere else. It was we ended up going to Belize, and it was kind of amazing because they rescheduled the entire like month-long thing and got us to do everything in Belize. Like in 3 days, they reorganized everything. I think it helped that originally they had to cancel their trips to Belize that year because of like a scare of like some disease or something, but then it turned out to not be a thing. So they already had like stuff sort of in place that they knew to do there, but I ended up going to Belize. But yeah, it was I don't know, I just remember like those 3 days, like I literally just like played RuneScape and was doing like some weird stuff, just like sitting there waiting to like basically go to some country I'd never heard of before. I mean, I never heard of Honduras in the first place, but then I definitely never heard of Belize. I was like, oh my god. The wild times. And nowadays it's a question of, well, are we going to Pride of Altaris, or are we just going back into Berlingrad today? You know? now the further we go is the other StarCraft maps. Oh, you know, to be fair, eSports has had some of those moments as well. Where, as this game is just ongoing, sorry, I'm on a bit of a tangent, I'll stop in a sec. eSports has those moments as well, where all of a sudden they're like, hey, someone dropped out an event. This happened to me when I did Katowice offline for the first time. They're like, hey, someone dropped out. We need you to come to Poland. I'm like, oh, when do I fly? And they're like, Friday or something. I was like, it was like Monday. I was like, whoa, what? I think the crazier one was I was at Epic LAN, and I got an email asking me to go to Brazil for WESG. And I was like, oh, when do I fly? It was like the Saturday of Epic LAN, I think. And they're like, oh, yeah, you fly on Wednesday. I was like, what? I was like, what the actual bleep do you mean I fly on Wednesday? Like, yeah. I was like, okay. So 4 days later, I just went to Brazil. It was a great time. It was my first offline event I got to cast. Crazy. So maybe I've just got that kind of feeling of never knowing what's going to happen. Kind of deep inside me at this point. Alright, this game. Lots of corruptors came out. Obviously, we rushed the carriers. When you rush carriers, the Berserk pretty much needs to get a lot of corruptors out to make sure they have a force that can shoot down the carriers. Love this. Gonna get rid of this base and then pull back home to deal with the army. He's gonna lose at least one base in the process, but if he times this right, it's very possible that Armani can get home in time to be okay here. That Prism is already low as well. And corruptors really need to get here like right now. The Ravagers doing a good job. Oh, those bios are massive! Holy crap, that's a lot of carriers which are now hurting. I'm going to get rid of the carrier on its own, the left side first. More biles actually killing a carrier off. Zest, you know you can kind of dodge those, right? Wow. Considering the Corruptors, I feel like the Corruptors not being here initially actually helped because it almost felt as though the biles got way more done than they would have otherwise done. Wow, that helped a lot, as that's a full cleanup from Armani, and it's going to win him the game. Yes. You expect this got caught up, perhaps didn't look in the right place at the right time against the bar. That it happens. Zest is in the top right hand side. Well, I hope this is actually going to become a bit of a longer series, because otherwise we're going to have to find some extra stuff to cast today. Yay. Like I said, I picked this one because I figured some good matches likely to go a little bit long, but not happening. Zest's map pick when he loses the first game is obviously Armani taking the Freecs to a 2-1 lead is huge. But yeah, Zest gets to pick his map, and he picks Glitter and Ashes. So I wonder if he just wants to do something similar. In my eyes, if you're going to play Glitter, and this is the map where you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to macro up, I'm just going to have a good time, and, you know, do this and do that, and just sort of like, you know, build carriers. So yeah, I kind of feel like we're potentially in for something similar to what we've already seen here. I'm very, very interested as to how this goes down. See what Zest chooses to do. Armani unlocked the secret Ravager anti-air upgrade. Can you imagine Ravager balls just hit things when they went up as well? And just like, yeah, they do half damage. Man, they'd be so freaking good still. That'd be so broken. It's when you come up and then you have to dodge it coming down. Damn. Hey, what's up, Hermes64? How you doing, mate? Thank you so much for the resub for 5 months. Welcome back. Really do appreciate it. As we work our way through, like I say, just some more Team League casting today, guys, playing catch-up. Today's stream is sponsored by Dislight, though. We're going to be playing that in a couple of hours. If you'd like to check it out, the exclamation mark Dislight in the chat. There's a QR code when we're kind of between games as well. You can check. And, yeah, check that out. Always appreciated. And, yeah, always great when you guys check out our sponsors. See if we can start getting some people through the tutorial and filling up that 0 out of 160 bar. Would be incredible. There's our probes coming through, going on a little scouted bout. Adept is on the way. Let me just get this set up and rolling. Just gonna be seeing our Stargate is gonna be finished in a few moments' time. So once again, playing a very similar style in the first few moments of this, at least. So setting up for that right now. Just gonna be seeing our Adept coming down towards the natural, obviously looking to scout. This is gonna be an Oracle on the way from Zest, so maybe we don't see the full commitment to Stargate here. Maybe we do play something with a little bit more of a ground-based focus this time around, so yeah. So we're gonna go pinging away at this Overlord, which is going to fall very soon, so hopefully is gonna be dropped. And the Oracle's just going to get a few of them out, and obviously we'll see how well Zest can do with that Oracle harassment. So, working towards all that. As we get that set up, just going to be seeing the Oracle coming around this left-hand side. There's going to be a couple of Queens there, which are going to activate, and that Oracle is taking some shots, losing its shields already, and it is pushed away up the left-hand side. A few links still on the right. And like I said, just seeing our Stargate on the way up right here from Zest. So bringing that Stargate through, the Phoenix continuing to run out as well. Actually kind of interesting. I'm going to see a second Stargate, and we're building Phoenix. We're going to just move into like a lot of Phoenix. Zest mesmerizes me sometimes. He loses an Oracle as well. Jeez. We're actually just going to build like mass Phoenix from here? That's kind of crazy, no? That can't actually be the plan, right? Sorry, I'm trying to readjust my headset as well while I talk. Wow, he's gonna play double Stargate Phoenix from here. That's so confusing, no? How was that? You know, I'm a fan of Phoenix builds, but I just feel like this one to go double Oracle then double Stargate Phoenix. How wild! When's the next big event? Next big event starts tomorrow. DreamHack is back tomorrow, guys. DreamHack is back. Boop, 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 boop. DreamHack's back. DreamHack's back. We've seen the couple things getting turned around at the moment. Not gonna be able to do too much. Let's see, a couple of robo facilities coming through. The Phoenix will get it works. Obviously, with the Phoenix, you're obviously hoping and trying and really trying to make sure that you can, if at all possible, just kind of harass and kill stuff off. And obviously, the Zerg just wants to kind of keep on droning behind that. Push the Phoenix back where you can, but it's very tricky to kill the Phoenix, right? Because it's very difficult for the, you know, why would the Protoss stick around if the Phoenix are going to die? You know, surely they'd just be moving away and stuff. So just make that a little bit tough. 40, how far do you need to play? You got through chapter 1. It should be when you finish chapter 1, like 1-8. Stage like 1-8, I believe, is the end of chapter 1. If you got through that, then I imagine it's going to ding at some point in the fairly near future, and it will update. So that's what I was told. That's what I was told in terms of how much you had to do. Yeah, thank you so much, Hampelman, for the Prime sub as well. I was just watching Phoenix go kind of wild on a few of these drones at the moment. Hey, there you go. There you go. Oh, shit, no. It didn't show you guys' names properly. There you go. 1 out of 160. Good job, team. You guys, there we go. We're on the road. We're on the road to the goals. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. And thank you again, Hampelman, for the Prime sub. We got these Phoenix. They rocking up and ready to have a bit of a fight here. More Stalkers warping in, looking to get aggressive down this bottom side. In we go. Revelation will drop. A few drones going to start morphing into spores already as well. So in they go with this. And just going to be seeing the Stalkers and Mortals coming down this bottom side and getting to start chipping their way through this hatchery. So hatch begins to take some damage. Well, force fields will go down. Nothing too much happening just there. Just gonna be seeing how Phoenix trying to nibble, trying to get an oversee. I mean, big push from Zest. I mean, he's got a hell of a ground force up after these Phoenix, right? Like, he's been very quick to transition through to this ground army, and I almost feel as though, yeah, Armani's built all these Corruptors that are now kind of useless. That's not going to help him in the slightest, right? So that's a little bit rough. Just going to see the 3 Queens coming through, lifting up by the Phoenix. The Phoenix going to help to take these out of the equation. Stalkers coming through, Lings are being picked away at. A couple of Corrosive Files coming down. Phoenix still taking damage. An Immortal there is going to fall as the Roaches and Ravagers get to it and kill it off. And the Stalkers just break through this. I mean, Armani's army supply is still a good bit higher. It's just so much of it is in Corruptors that just don't do anything. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't go across the map, right? Like, it kind of feels like this is a situation where you do just go across the map, because why the hell not? I'm very surprised by that. Well, Corruptor's back up the top side. The couple Phoenix are going to try and escape away. Charge, +1 armor, the Immortal production, all continuing through from Zesk, and all of that underway right now. Let's just hit the Stalkers there, and these Corruptors already going to get turned around just slightly. Armani's supply is still good. If those Corruptors could obviously just get something done, if they can just be enough of a force on the counterattacks or something along those lines, that would obviously be amazing. We'll see if something ends up happening with that. Just having our Stalkers coming through, pushing around. Yo, thank you so much for the donation. Do I have a dashboard open to check who that is? Hermes64, thank you so much for the donation of £8. I really appreciate it. Welcome back on that resub, and boom, dropping the donation as well. Thank you so much. Sorry, do I not have sounds on my alerts on this screen? Do I just not have alerts on this screen? Oh my god, I just don't have alerts on this screen at all. Oh god, I'm gonna have to fix that. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Oh, that's so weird. Alright, anyways, Armani's actually going to come and get aggressive himself. So Armani's going to push. The Corruptor's going in the mate. This is exactly what we wanted to see with the Corruptors, right? Get them in a position, get them to try and take down a base while something else is happening. Just make them useful. We'll check in, I assume, in a moment, and it looks as though the Nexus has died there. So that Nexus in the main has gone down. And Armani just keeps on pushing. The Corruptor's going to hide in the corner. And at this point, maybe just get rid of that fourth base and back it up. We're going to have Zealots on the counterattack. That's scary. You do not want to be losing too much economy here. So, yeah, it is going well for you overall. Just get rid of that Nexus still, I would say. And then make sure, like I say, you get back home and you defend against those Zealots. Make sure you don't take too much damage. Drone count is starting to drop. And there goes the Nexus. Now we should be able to fall back for the most part. Those Zealots just reaching across, getting a drone, getting a queen. Going after some more of these drones as well. So away we go with all of that. These Stalkers will just continue to give chase for the moment. So away they go, chasing along. These Corruptors are going to show up, and this Nexus over here will be taking some additional damage. Corruptors just continue to spray that down. The Stalker's still coming through. It's going to have the Lings grabbing this Immortal already, and that's going to get picked off immediately. Man, can we actually not clean this up as Armani? These Stalkers are looking to be just savages, continuing through, not stopping for anyone or anything. It looks like Zest is going to tie this series 2-2 across the board. Wow. Gotta say, credit to Zest. He played this out pretty nicely. Definitely looked concerned when the Corruptors were obviously able to get damage done. Like I say, if you don't get anything done with the Corruptors, that's kind of like whatever. And that's probably very bad for Armani. But once they killed a base in the main, I mean, look how all Zest is. He didn't rebuild his main Nexus, right? I believe he's only just now rebuilding the third base, so he's like extremely all in. If this attack didn't work, he would be done for. But it is enough, and Zest is going to tie this series 2s each. Wow. All right, 2s apiece. And that is very fun, because it means that Q versus Sue is for all the marbles here. Or to at least potentially take us to an ace match. Let me welcome you to, this is the best of 2 between Kira and Sue. All ooze. In the top right side it is Kira from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. In the bottom left from the Kwangdong Freecs it's Sue. It's only my second time casting him since his return. As he's, well, he did play in the King of Battles qualifiers and stuff, but I haven't cast any of that yet. But this is me getting to cast him in well, Team League for the second time basically. We did have a pro SC2 player, which was Balloon. He was on my Insanity for a while, but that was a while back as well. Like, we're really going for like a bit of a throwback at that point. And while he was a pro, I wouldn't ever say that Balloon had any like super crazy good results. It's not like he like made any like runs where he was like, oh my god, like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, not to hate or anything, but he never went in like super deep in a tournament or anything along those lines. So that was definitely still cool to see him playing and stuff, but we've never had someone be like at the top of their game, and you know, in that sort of scenario or anything. Morrow June. Oh yeah, Morrow in Wings of Liberty played Zerg, but then he played Terran versus Zerg, right? So he played ZVP and ZVT, but then if his opponent was a Zerg, he would play TVZ. And that was actually something pretty much only he did. And that's actually a good call. That's a very good call. Dark. Because that is a perfect example of actually someone that kind of did play random. Good job. 10 out of 10. Congratulations. You have won my seal of approval. You know lots about StarCraft. How does it feel? Yeah, he basically avoided the mirror match. It's one of those things that's very weird. Like, what if his opponent's like, oh, well, if you're going to play Terran, then I'm going to play, like, you know, Protoss. And he's like, well, I don't play TVP, so I'm going to go back to Zerg. And the other guy's like, well, I'm going to go back to Zerg. I actually don't know what happened then. I wonder if anyone ever had to... I think at some point someone did have to make up a rule to deal with that. It's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny. It was like 12 years ago. I know, it's crazy. Honestly, when you think StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void came out 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago, coming up to 7, that's when I feel crazy old. It's like, what? How? Why? Hey, Percival, thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, how races decide for a match? Yeah, they're blind picks, so you just send players out. You know, my first player is this guy, second player, third player. It used to be based on like they would give a starting map. They got rid of it because they didn't like how many mirror matchups there were, which removes a lot of the strategy of it. But I kind of get it because we had the same thing in Casted Civil War. There was quotation marks a lot of mirror matchups. There actually wasn't that many, I would say. Like, it wasn't like as bad as people made it out to be. But yeah, I mean, people don't like mirrors, so people will try and avoid that. I don't know. I don't like it. Couple of Hellions trying to roast up. They do get a drone so far. Skewer goes with a little bit of a drive back. And just going to be seeing that Hellion here is going to get out of there as well. So out goes the Hellion. You see a couple more coming through the bottom side now. And away they go. Hellions around the south would love to try and get rid of some of those drones. We're not quite able to just yet. Not quite finding the opportunity for it. We are going to go Cloak Banshees on the follow-up. Now, Su, when we've seen him play, has been pretty good at ZVT, I would say. Out of all the matchups he's been playing again, I'd say ZVT is one of the ones he's been looking fairly reasonable in. I think that a lot of the fact is he's just very, you know... ZVT hasn't changed a lot in its core concepts, right? So, yeah, going for a bit more ZVT. Do you think he can do fairly well for himself here? And I suppose we'll see exactly in just a few moments exactly how he will end up doing. And see if he can indeed put up a good fight against Kua. Kua's a tough opponent though, like, I mean, Kua is a difficult one to crack. That Deep nearly goes down, nice little potential counterattack there, but the Banshee showing up and just finding some drones transferring already. Gonna be having a good time, so yeah, not a bad start so far. As this Banshee does come back around, it is gonna move its way in there as well. Yeah, Hellion's trying to come through and just going to be looking for some more drones as well. Not quite going to happen. So at least good against the Hellions. Just that Banshee that's caught him a little bit off guard and has sent him into a little bit of disarray here at the moment. So a little frustrating, but nothing too bad. As we do otherwise just have the Banshees back in for a few more drones. Creep spread's not getting very far because those Hellions seem to have so much control as well. And Kyo's just going to chip away at a few more drones again, so we're really having a good job of this. This is going to be one of those games where Kyo is going to finish 1-1, he's going to get medevac, and he's going to attack, and Su's going to be playing Ling Bei Muda, and Su's probably just going to die because he just doesn't have enough stuff to hold on, right? I hate to kind of make it too simple and, like, you know, almost be pessimistic about the game, but to me, that's one of these games because the creep spread's not going to be there. The drone damage is starting to really add up. There's going to be Hellion support for the first push of the game from the Terran player. The first push is going to be so tough to stop. It's going to be very difficult to stop. And like I say, I do worry about that a little bit right now for Su. I do think that's potentially his downfall in this game number 1 that he's playing against Kyo. Game 5, of course, in the overall series. Game 2-0 if either of these players will win the series for their team. A 1-1 will take us to an ace match, and then obviously they get to pick their ace player. That's always very exciting, and from what I've seen so far, there has not yet been a from what I've seen, there's not yet been a an ace match in World Team League this season. Obviously, maybe one of the matches I missed had an ace match, but I've not looked at the results yet in case I cast them. So yeah, thank you whoever it was that downloads this. I guess I'll shout out in a second because this fight's gonna break out. Ling Bane is gonna go running on forwards. In we go. Well, not gonna be too great initially. The Marines and the Hellions are gonna push this back, and we are just gonna be seeing the force continuing through. So this Marine Hellion force coming in. Just gonna go pushing through and getting going. Guys, my stream is lagging. Hang on a second. Yeah, my as we do resume. Please let me know in the chat if it just starts up again, and we can try and have another look at it. But it does look like one of those things where we just had to wait for it to come through and get sorted out. As we go. Ling's Bane's trying to defend. I mean, this was already not a pretty fight for Su. Kira was kind of just overrunning for the most part, and Su can't seemingly get enough up to really deal with this at all. So, yeah, I mean, this is where the meters don't really help you too much either. These few Banes trying to connect. We might clean this up, right? I mean, we might be forced as Kira to bring another army across the map, basically, but I feel like that's pretty much all. And yeah, it's going to be GG's. Did you guys miss the fight, by the way? I will go back a minute or so and just show you guys, like, the fight from, I guess, where it maybe lagged. Nothing really too crazy, but this was, I think, the fight that we may be lagging in just a little bit. I mean, he just runs into a tank. He doesn't actually kill anything. There's no Banes that arrive. And the game just gets completely out of control from here. So just to, like I say, rewind it for a moment or two. There's not really a lot to see. I was just wanting you guys to see. This wasn't like some sick epic micro. Just Su didn't really have the preparations needed to deal with it right away. And like I say, it kind of just got out of hand, you know? So, yeah. I mean, the tank shots were good. And Kyo just had a good little attack, so yeah. Then this is where we kind of more or less paused it. So I'll bring me out of this and just skip back forward to the. Did I also play OSRS? Yes, I'm a big OSRS fan. As we have got the Blue Terran player from DPG, it is Kua. Up 1-0, one map away from winning this for DPG, sending them to 3-0, while the Freaks would be 0-3. Can we get an ace match, though? I'd like an ace match. Because A, it means Su gets to play a good game and gets to win against Q. That's sick. B, it means we get one more map of this series, and that's obviously very cool. You know, probably like a Trap Rogue or something. Final map, you know, something like that could be very cool. There's, you know, definitely two teams you want to see an ace match between. And, yeah, 3. I mean, just more StarCraft, right? Oh, yes to PvP updates and OSRS? No, I don't like you guys. You guys kill me when I go and do my clue scroll story. It's okay. I'm not even allowed to vote in PvP updates. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. 2 racks in the main base from Q. As we get into game number 6, we get this underway, and we'll see what goes down. Rippo's on the way up, barracks coming through, the orbital command is a building, and just going to be, obviously with the 2 racks opening, like I say, a bit of fun on Glitter and Ashes, which is Su's map, because Su doesn't choose Pride, by the way, chooses Glittering. Su is someone, actually, Q is someone who actually, when I see him play on Pride, I'm not even that worried for him. He actually has won a lot of TvZ games on Pride. If I had to name you guys a Terran player I've seen win the most on Pride of Altars, it probably would be Q, actually. In TvZ, I don't know why, I just think back to a lot of Q games I've seen in TvZ, and he just always seems to have a good build that works well, gives him a good momentum lead, and he never gets into, like, the troubling spot of the map, right? So, yeah. Marines still coming up. We do see Queens and Lings coming through on the side of Su. And, yeah, I mean, it's not really that aggressive or anything from Q either, just going to have a couple Reapers to harass with. It does mean his command center's a little bit later on, but in general, it's just kind of fine. Like I say, it's not a huge commitment or anything. But, yeah, definitely a fun one, if nothing else. As that Reaper comes through, and these 3 Lings actually going to start nibbling that Reaper, and the Reaper ends up getting pushed away now, so Reaper gets pushed out of there and isn't going to be able to stick around for the moment. We're going to go and try and take down this hatchery. Queen's still just coming through. Obviously, if you can get this hatchery bunkered up, then maybe you can get a cancel, and obviously that would be a pretty big deal. That would be a great way to play this out as well. So there's a lot of potential on that as a couple queens and the lings move back down that bottom side. Things continuing off over to the right. These Marines are in a bunker, and again, breaking through this is just that little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating that you don't really want to be dealing with at the moment, you know? You just do not want to have to deal with this so far, so definitely a frustration at the moment as we get this set up. Those few Marines continue to fire, that hatchery under fire as well. It's going to be seeing our Queens trying to stop the Reaper too much as well. We see a little Ling counterattack, and obviously a lot more Lings having to build, but these are all Lings when you'd rather be building drones, right? And that's a big part of the problem at the moment is, yeah, you'd rather be building drones right now. It definitely makes this a little unfortunate to say the least. And yeah, this is not ideal. No cancel. Yeah, I mean it's just not a great situation, is it? Not really much to build on. Why didn't he might not have cancelled it initially because he wanted to believe he could defend it, but then the timing just didn't quite line up for him to be able to defend it, right? I'd say that's a fairly realistic possibility as these Lings try and force their way up the ramp. I mean, good try from Sue. It's definitely the way you can still win this, right? By, you know, forcing your way up the ramp into the main, maybe wrap around on those Marines and then go from there. I have to assume, guys, that you don't cancel because you just believe you're going to be able to defend it, and then you're like, oh no, it probably isn't going to work out. So yeah. Sometimes you can argue as well, like sometimes you don't cancel something because you want the opponent to sit there and waste time attacking it instead of coming to kill you. I don't think that's one of those situations in this, you know, scenario or anything, but you know, like I say, I mean, sometimes it's just a mistake as well, right? Like sometimes you really believe you're just going to get it and then you're just like, no, and then it just doesn't work at all, and that's really bad. Marines are going to begin to move forward here. He's going to go after this OV and do pretty well. The Marines are going to start moving down to the bottom side of the map and getting that underway. There's got a few Banelings morphing in on this bottom side as well, so those few Banes coming through right now. I'm just going to be seeing the extra Marines unloading in the bottom side, getting ready to stem up this ramp and maybe make a bit of a push. In they go. And Sue, when you lose your third base, you're going to be very behind. Getting back into this is going to become very difficult. There's just no other way to talk about that. It's just the truth. It's kind of how this matchup works. As Ling Bane comes crashing in, and quite simply, is pretty much going to put Sue in a position where he can't really defend. He crashes in, he doesn't do enough, and this game is truly kind of on its way to a closing point. Rip. Rip, rip. Two extra Marines trying to move on through, see what they can do. They don't find anything just yet, though, so still not exactly ideal. But Sue is just, I mean, he's got mutas out. Maybe the mutas counterattack can do something. Drilling Claw's on the way from Kua, so he knows he wants to just play mines into the mid game. These Banes don't have speed yet, so the Marines are just target firing them down one. Oh, doesn't get the next one for a while. Mine goes off and gets a reasonable connection, though, so that's nice. Here's in the main, might be a good distraction for a few moments. Good, I was going to say, just needs to target fire that Bane. He probably could stand there and fight, but then he wasn't getting the Bane, and I was like, whoa. But nothing comes of it again, so yeah, not a big deal, nothing too crazy or out. It's just going to be seeing the Marines continuing through. Jeez, that was my accent coming through. Nothing too crazy or out. Yes, great English, Wardy. That was a very, very rare slip of the northernness coming out of me on stream as... Well, 7 SCVs went down. Unfortunately, it seems like this entire third hatchery is going to go down, and maybe the hatchery doesn't die, but again, like, Sue just doesn't have the numbers to keep up and to recover and to stop further bad things from happening. These are all just problems. These are all just problems. Meters at least can be something of a comeback unit. Like, if there is one unit in this matchup which can maybe pull you back from being very behind, Mutas can actually be that, and just because they have that potential to kind of overwhelm sometimes, catch a drop that's full, and, you know, throw the Terran behind because they were trying to make something happen, then they can't. It's always a possibility, so... Those Marines are extra dramatic. Yeah, it's just the Chinese client. The Chinese client is different sounds. And yeah, the Terran units really like to scream when they die. It's it really is something, to say the least. Yeah, they will not hold back in their screams of defeat. They're like, you know, you actually go away, you think the game's ended. You start game number 2, and game number 2, the Marines are still screaming. Oh my goodness, the Widow Mine drop is obviously horrendous if you're a Sioux fan right now. This is not getting any better. Like I say, if you're a Sioux fan. The Ghost makes a nice sound. Yeah, the Ghosts really scream. Like, they don't just scream, they screech. They make a hell of a noise. Zerg players right now are probably making a similar noise watching all these drones die to Widow Mine. It's like, no, make it stop! Don't make me watch this! Oh, it is painful, I gotta admit. It is not pretty. It is not pretty. Pure up a game, looking to close this out for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. I'm very excited for the week that Sue shows up in World Team League and looks really good. We've seen him have some good results in other events already. He's just not had them yet in World Team League. I'm very excited for when he shows up big and does good things and really starts to help bring the Freaks up, but that's going to have to be sooner rather than later because the Freaks are going to be, what, 0-3? That is, I already talked about it earlier in the series, but 0-3 is a tough hole to climb yourself out of. The good news is it's 0-3 against some of the better teams in the league and some of the teams that are looking to be like top 4 or so. But you just need to make sure nothing goes wrong for you the rest of the way. As Sue's going to clean out this bunker, a little bit of a little bit of mild revenge. He's like, oh, that's satisfying. You know, that's nice, being able to kill that off. We'll take it. We'll be happy with that. Yeah, I mean, that just, you know, kind of is a summary of this game. The fact the bunker is still just stood there at this point in time. Otherwise, this time gets shut down. I mean, this time Kyo, or at this point, maybe Kyo doesn't want to just keep on doing this. Maybe he should just push. I imagine he's probably waiting for 1-1. He's going to push with that 1-1 would be my best guess as to what's going to happen here. So yeah, I imagine that's going to become the plan, and that's a push that, like I say, Sue should not really be able to defend. This defense probably comes from trying to send mutas across the map and counterattack, get a lot of damage done, and then you somehow get some really good baneling connections that clean up the army at the same time. It's difficult. It's difficult to imagine that so many things would go right in such a short period of time that would save Sue in this game, but we will see, friends. We will see if it's gonna go down. Like I say, we're gonna cast something else after this. I didn't quite decide what yet, so you guys can help me decide. Maybe we'll cast some Sue from the King of Battle qualifiers, because I know that was the first stuff he played in. And I don't know, I don't remember exact results, but I do know he won some games there at least, so maybe we can get into some stuff. And I mean, I'll just pick a match at random, but maybe we'll be able to find one that he won in or something. I'm kind of down to watch some Sue. Like I say, we're going to cast at least another best of 3 once this series is up, which really should not be a long way away, because this right now is just going to be the Bioforce going for that push like I talked about. The upgrade's finished, so we push. You know, he attack, he kill. Pure will win this series with DPG. He's going to lose his 4th base, so you know, like I said, the mutas will counterattack, they'll get a lot of damage done, and then you need something to go very right for you on this side of the map. But the very right for you on this side of the map is currently not happening, so unfortunately, it doesn't really matter that you deny the 4th. Denying the 4th doesn't matter in this situation. At all, really. Real talk for a moment. I was going to clean up these mines. That was fairly well handled, at least. See, Sue's just going to fight until the bitter end. Knows that this is his team's last life in this team match, so doesn't want to give it up too easy. Wants to exhaust every possible option before he wraps up here. Well, drone's going down. We do see these other lings going to come running back through as well. He's going to come up, just going to go after that medevac and after those marines. As we get rid of a couple of these marines already, so just picking their way through those. And a couple of Thors making their way down the bottom side. Bioforce coming along as well. We stim, we're going to start picking through some of this creep spread. Opening up this map a little bit. Banes are morphing in as well. These mutas are going to come on through. I'm going to grab a lone marine there initially. I mean, credit to Sue. I mean, he is actually really exhausting every possible option to get back into this, right? If you go back around to the right side, a couple of changelings will be pressing forward, trying to see if they can change anything and pick up some info that can maybe give Sue a fight. Sue, I mean, shouldn't be allowed to max out. I'd be kind of surprised if Kyo gave him that much time. You know, that would be kind of shocking if that much time was given, so don't expect that to be the case, but let's see. The Marauder there going to go after a few Banes. They actually did better than they maybe should have done, in all honesty. That's the longest game of this series, right? I mean, a lot of these games in this series are pretty short. This going to 15 minutes is probably one of the longest ones, but again, it really has been uncompetitive for the majority of it. As Sue runs in and tries to fight. The mutas show up a little bit late to the party. Those Thors are blasting Mutalisks, and they are not having a fun time. Please make it stop, guys. Make it stop. Marine's gonna come through, chase down some extra drones in the main base. Kira is just putting all the hurt. Sue, why do you pain yourself so? Yeah, the supplies are actually evening out. Like I say, you do obviously stay in this until you're absolutely sure and convinced that you are dead. I mean, his meter count is ridiculous. So his meter count could be high enough that you maybe take a fight that's just like overwhelmingly in your favor. You like overwhelm the army. But stuff like Widowmines and Thors are going to be very good at shutting down the mutas because they're going to naturally clump. They're just going to be, destined to die against splash damage, basically. So he's coming back around the back. Just going to be seeing the Ling still in the center. 3/3 upgrades still coming through. And extra mutas coming in. Baneling's already beginning to morph. All of this continuing up right now. Spawn each base would have helped a lot. Yeah, just helped with detection against those mines. It's just rough, right? Like, you're playing from behind initially, so you don't take the precautions you could take in a game where you're better set up. You just see how quickly Kira's supply rises when Sue's doesn't. Wastes no time at all. Yeah, he probably should have got sports at some point, right? But I think with the mutas up, he just sort of believes he should have the map control to not let the Widowmine drops get in anyway, to some extent. But yeah, obviously sports would have been nice. He is maxed. He's got maxed upgrades. He could be hit by some Baneling burrow bombs. I mean, that's definitely a way to kind of, shift a lot of supply very quickly. It is gonna work around this. Well, as the scan catches all 4 of those Banelings. I love that it was 4 as well. Stu was really going for the let's blow up like a real chunk of this army, and maybe that's what you need to initiate a fight in a scenario like this. Stu using what little creep spread he has to accelerate these Banelings into the bio forces, but it's just not gonna be enough. It just isn't gonna matter. And Kira is gonna win this out. GG's, basically, at some point soon. Here's flying overhead, gonna go after some of these Marauders. Widowmine goes down. It's gonna have the Bioforce still coming through. We actually pick off the Thor right there. Has Burrow Banelings worked in any recent pro matches? Yeah, they work a lot of the time. When people use them, they usually get some connections. As GG's called, and Kira is gonna take it for the Dragon Phoenix Gaming Boys. 2-0 for himself and 4-2 for them overall. Here was just the final little push they needed to actually get the W today without an ace match. And that is Dragon Phoenix Gaming picking up that victory. GG's.